The Buffalo Bills fall short to the Kansas City Chiefs at home in the divisional playoff round and officially clean out their lockers and enter into the offseason. And we'll talk all about it right here on the Buffalonian Podcast. All right, let's go. We are back with the Buffalonian Podcast. I'm Joe Cali. As always, I'm joined by none other than Dom Loss. Let the awkward silence tell you everything you need to know right there. That's what you need to know coming into this episode here. It's the dreadful end-of-season episode. We did it last year right after the Bengals game. This one feels better, but also worse at the same time. There's a lot of raw emotions. We're going to get into all of that here. But we've got a Dom 5 for you today, and then you're going to get our reactions to this and where they go from here. So quickly, Dom, before we get into the 5, off the top, right here, what do you think?
I am no longer able to listen to Jelly Rolls. I got to look up the song. Save Me. Yeah, I can't listen to that song anymore.
Such a good song, too. That's such a shame.
As many of you know, I work for the Bills and their mobile ticket team, so I was at the game for the first 3 quarters, driving home all the way from Orchard Park to Grand Island the last, quarter of the game, and was driving the car and Bass missed the field goal, and then the 2 plays later, the Chiefs had the first down to win the game, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna listen to them kneel out the game, and I switched to 106.5, and literally as I do that, the first thing I hear is "I'm a Lost Cause" and it's the Jelly Roll song, and at that moment I was near exit 16, and I was, you know what, may just yeet myself off the road.
Oh God!
But here we are.
Luckily you didn't.
As Josh Allen says, woke up this morning not happy that I did, but not just kidding.
Yeah. So anyway, the Bills have cleaned out their lockers after a 27-24 loss to the Chiefs, where the final drive, offensive drive of the Bills, they fell apart. So without further ado, before we get deep into it here, let's hit the Dom 5. What do you think? Waiting all weekend for the Dom 5, especially this one.
Last edition of the season.
Yeah.
What is it? 17 games plus, so the 19th edition of the Dom 5, as I just threw my mic out. That's nice. But here we go.
Let's roll.
Pain. Mm-hmm. Number 1 is pain. As you can see by Josh Allen, he also agrees with me.
That tweet circulates quite a bit.
Pain. Mm-hmm. We go to number 2 now. More pain.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, we're all in here laughing at this point. It's just, it is. I think that's the best way to do it. It's just pain. It's year after year after year. You get to this point. You're in the divisional round. You're the final 4 teams left in the conference.
2 wins away from the Super Bowl.
Then you're on the public bus and you yank that yellow cord to get off.
Well,
you know what I mean? That just seems to be what happens here.
It was funny. I was driving home again, as I alluded to, and I got into the driveway and the game was over, and I just sat there and I was like, why do they gotta tease us like this? Mm-hmm. This isn't like being Dolphins fans when they get in the playoffs, they're just gonna get their asses kicked
in the wild card.
Yeah,
and the first round exit.
Yeah, they can't win. Who gives a crap? And now the Bills are the team that can't get over the hump, can't make, it's always Team X makes the big play and the Bills don't, and I was like, this is rough, but
Scooby-Doo couldn't have said it better himself.
It's the life we choose, and one or the other way. Obviously, it's going to be a difficult. What is it now? January. We don't have.
There's nothing
for Bills football for another 8 months.
No, and it's not like our hockey team's doing any better. So
no, it's not like we have something to fall back on. But listen, as I alluded, I said this to Joe before. I feel a I don't know if better is the right word because I feel like crap right now. But
Compared
to last offseason, like last offseason was they got their complete asses kicked by Cincinnati at home. And it felt like that was kind of over. This is a missed opportunity for sure. Getting Mahomes at home, Burrow not healthy, Herbert not healthy, winning the division again, getting the 2 seed.
This seemed like, with all of those circumstances you mentioned, it seemed like the one to go.
It's as good a shot as they've had, and I guess that's the tough part. But I think, he always being super optimistic, but again, compared to what we were going into last offseason, at least this offseason feels like we have the 5 guys for the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
We have a stable ground game. We have Josh effing Allen. Diggs doesn't seem upset, even though his performance went down the hill. Kincaid looks nice. Shakir took a step. Cook took a step. Obviously, we're going to have to figure some stuff out defensively, but I think there's
positives heading into
the offseason. There's more positives in my mind, I guess, than
last year.
Definitely last year.
Last year, the Bengals came in, basically smacked you in the face, stomped your head into the curve, and just walked off. So it's basically what they did. And the Chiefs this year, though, you were in the game. You led in the game for a majority of it. You controlled the ball about 33 minutes of the game. You had the ball in your hands. They had 22, something like that.
Yep.
So you controlled the game, and then you don't come through at the end, unfortunately. Tyler Bass, you get the wide right echoing back through Bills Mafia again 3 decades later. Not on as grand of a scale because the original one was on a game-winning kick in the Super Bowl. This was a game-tying kick in the divisional round, but still hurts just as much to hear those words. Jim Nantz definitely knew that when he said it. He knew that was going to be clipped because CBS had that posted on social media within 5 minutes, the side-by-side.
56 million people peaked watching that game at that time.
Yeah.
So the most ever in a divisional game. And I guess people who like Sunday at 1 p.m.
We're not getting that
and
anymore.
Also people that like Bills Chiefs at 4:25 on CBS in a primetime window. Yeah, I would bet pretty significant money that's going to be scheduled again sometime in a 4:25 window. I don't know what week, but
guess who's coming back home to the Bills next season? The Chiefs.
I was gonna say God.
Hopefully. The Chiefs are coming back to Orchard Park next season in the regular season. So
yep, first time in the regular season with fans. But on to the number 3, please. Pain cubed. No, I'm just kidding.
Pain cubed. Power of 3.
Offensive game plan worked. I just think if you're going to blame, which we all do, I think there's a lot of blame to go around. I just don't think the offensive game plan was particularly a problem.
No.
Listen, we talked ad nauseum going in the game that this Chiefs run defense was something to take advantage of, and my mic keeps messing up. Sorry about that. We talked about how they need to take a page out of Green Bay's playbook and just ball control, take control of the clock. I believe the first drive took 7 minutes. I know they only got a field goal, but
it was about 8 minutes actually. I think it was high 7.
Yeah. So as we alluded to, 37 minutes. They ran the ball for nearly 200 yards. They nearly had 400 yards of offense. And this Chiefs defense is elite. Like, this is a top 5 defense in the NFL. I don't think that and they were pretty healthy. I know that then their nose tackle was out, but Bolton was in, Snead, like McDuffie, I know their safety got concussed in the second play from scrimmage, but I find it frustrating that we're waking up this morning and we're still getting people complaining about that. And listen, did the Bills' offensive game plan cause razor thin margins? Absolutely. So that means when they had big plays to hit, they didn't have a big margin to miss those plays. And they missed those plays.
They did.
They had 4 plays that are critical plays that they missed out on. The Diggs 60-yard bomb. Say all you want. I'm not saying it's the easiest catch in the world, but the safety misplayed the ball. It hits your dread in the arms. Goes right through your arms. That's just the ball you got to come down with. Sherfield had 2 drops on third down. I know one might have been holding.
But he could have brought the ball in on that one.
Could have brought the ball in on that one. The second one was it's a diving catch, but god dang, man, you're an NFL player, and you just got. You're in the NFL, man. That ball was a diving catch, sure, but would it have been hard for myself for you to make? Absolutely, but you were a professional athlete. that is a catchable ball.
Speak for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be very hard.
Okay, you and your Achilles.
Yeah.
Yeah. You pushing off the ground. You know what? You're reaching for your Achilles because you think someone stepped on it.
Yeah.
It popped. But fourth, and this is the biggest one in the game, is come out of the 2-minute warning, you take your shot, and it's there. It's a touchdown, and it just happens that Deion Dawkins, your Pro Bowl left tackle, Chris Jones makes the play. Deion Dawkins does not. And
the snowplow hit an iceberg. That's what happened.
Yeah, I mean,
you get your foot stepped on, and you can't throw fully into the ball.
Yeah, so I mean, they missed 4 plays.
Mm-hmm.
There were big plays that weren't game plan oriented. It was just they didn't make the plays.
Right, and to Joe Brady's credit, when the run game stopped, everyone I've been tuning in everywhere, hearing this. They said Joe Brady was trying to constantly run the football in the fourth quarter, right, on first down. He was, because the Chiefs' run defense, as you alluded to, historically this season has not been the best. They did go away from that when they needed to. When they needed a second and long, they aborted it. So, I'm kind of okay. I'm fine with that. I don't really – and you have the quarterback on second and long that's going to get you third and short no matter what.
Sure, and it's not like they were taking – listen, my only complaint was maybe some more play action, but they were still attempting to take shots.
Right.
You got to – listen, I say this – people just always want to point to Buffalo and Buffalo's problem. Like, the other side of the ball gets paid too. Mm-hmm. You got to give credit to Kansas City. They did a lot of good things to take away those other schemed deep shots.
They did.
And Allen checked it down. They were able to get yards off the checkdowns.
They started out paper cutting them pretty good.
And they paper cut them consistently. They did a good job of screens, of getting 6-7 yards. And yes, unfortunately, they had 2 drives in the second half that went 3 and out. And they only scored 7 points. But they scored 7 points. They went 2 and out, 3 and out twice. And the last drive, they had a good drive and they had an opportunity for a touchdown. The only play that the only really 2 things that I think, 3 plays. Allen, the near pick, the fumble were bad. And the only play I'll get criticized Allen's decision making was 3rd and 9. I think they had an opportunity to hit Kincaid over the middle of the field, which may have only been which probably would have got 6-7 yards.
But then it's fourth and manageable.
But also Kincaid maybe breaks a tackle there and gets the first down. I could trust him to maybe get the first down. That's my only complaint about Allen's decision making. Not throwing the ball to Diggs on the shallow route when the shallow route was not option 1 and option 1 was wide open for a touchdown is completely hindsight. And also, we're gonna pretend like that was so open. If he catches that ball, that linebacker Bolton's going right at him, and that's a 5-yard game.
He could close right there.
That's a 5-yard game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing too. I've heard saying McDermott needs to be aggressive in situations like that. If I do recall, they went for it on 4th and short on their own 35-yard line
first
in the first few minutes of the game.
Yes.
So what more do you want? Is my question.
And he fake punted.
4th and 9. Yeah, I don't. That we'll get into. We'll get into the fake punt, but. No, 4th and 9. We've had conversations too. People wanted him to go for it on 4th and 9. You think, tie the game at that point. I don't think you risk 4th and long, and it might be manageable for Josh Allen, sure.
It's not
but
likely.
It's 9 yards. It's not. It's a full down. You're not really. That's not a percentage you're gonna make that. You have a higher percentage to make the kick than that. Might as well just get the points on the board and go from there.
Yeah, just it's a lot to blame. I just don't. We could blame the offensive playmakers. I just don't think the game plan was the reason the Bills lost the game.
No, absolutely.
I mean, Kansas City had 8 yards of play, so it's it was a good thing they played ball control because Kansas City barely had the ball, and somehow Kansas City, with all those playing and Mahomes playing a great game, only put up 27 points. Mm-hmm. That's kind of whatever. On number 3, please. 4. Excuse me. I don't know what pain for the 4 is. If someone's gonna look that up, but
pain to the 4th power.
Pain to the 4th power. But T-Bass. Just sheesh, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
tough.
I mean, that
was shanked. That was no shot that was going in.
I mean, there's nothing more to say. You just gotta make the kick. I should have came down to that as we alluded to 2 plays before, maybe even the play before the decision making from Allen not to hit.
Right. And like you said, there's always the argument: should he have even been in that situation?
Absolutely.
Right.
But you still need to make that kick.
You need to make the kick. You're paid to make the kick. You need to make the kick.
I mean, Bucker, I'm pretty sure, made one that distance. I know it was left hash 47. T-Bass, I think Lily last week made a 45-yarder in the same distance. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 95% sure.
Yeah.
And then he missed it, man. And
I kind of had that sinking feeling though. After
we're Bills fans, of course. We thought he was going to miss it. You're
waiting for it. Ooh, wide right 2.0, and then here it is. It's right in front of you.
Sure, you can make the case. If he makes it, Mahomes plenty of time.
Minute 40 at that
Gets
point.
them in field position. They win the game. Sure. That still needed to happen.
Right.
You didn't give yourself a chance for that to come up with maybe a big play.
Yeah, sure. And they score within the minute and 40. And then the Bills have a shot to go down and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, or you hold them to a field goal, then it's opened up. Like, there's a whole plethora of things that could have happened if that kick went in.
And it didn't.
It did not. And again, should he have been in that situation? Arguably not. But you're in that situation. You need to make the kick.
When you make that much money as a kicker, you have to come through, and he didn't come through.
Right.
And it now leads to the question of what are they going to do with T-Bass?
Yeah. Does he stick around?
Do they have competition? I'm just going to tell you right now, I think he's going to stick around because his contract is $7 million of dead cap if they cut him.
Mm-hmm. He'll stick around, and also, historically, he's not had a season like this yet. This was his first.
True,
real
but he's
down
never had
season.
a true elite season, which is concerning.
No,
like he's had like 85, but he's never been anyone done in 78 this year. I will say this though, again, shoot me because I'm being optimistic, but Scott Norwood, we all know the original owner of the wide right, missed the field goal in Super Bowl. Next year,
still the majority shareholder in the wide right. By the way,
next year in the AFC Championship game, kicked a game-winning field goal to beat Denver 10-7 to send the Bills back to the Super Bowl. So, who knows? Maybe this is just destiny.
Yeah, maybe we'll get out of the divisional round next season. That'd be great. You know.
Yeah, maybe we'll play in a Super Bowl. You know,
who knows?
On to 5, please. Oh, the demons just don't go away. I mean, Jesus, man. Like oh my God, he owns us. I mean, but there's no shame in admitting that. I have no shame in admitting that Patrick Mahomes literally owns stock in the Bills. Terry's paying him a couple figures under the table because he owns us. Listen, Mahomes put a fantastic game. I mean, there's just no other way to explain it. He made some plays that were just jaw-dropping. I
don't know.
He had a fantastic game, you could argue, perfect game. And the Bills were only down 3 points and were driving to potentially take the lead with 2 minutes to go in the game. And that shows what kind of player the Bills have at quarterback. Listen, Josh was the best player on the field when he was on the field.
Absolutely.
But Mahomes is the best player on the field overall.
Yeah.
There's no shame in admitting you got 2. I think we've both said it multiple times that Mahomes is 1, Allen's 2. Heck, I'm still not trading Allen for Mahomes. It just is what it is.
No, someone posted that, by the way, that the Bills trade got the Chiefs, the Mahomes pick, and all whatever. Why? Why is that even a thought to just switch them up? Because guess what? What do you think would happen if Allen was on Andy Reid's Chiefs? Truthfully,
I don't know. I guess I don't care because I don't.
We'll never know. But at the same time, it could be the same situation, just reversed. You know what I'm saying?
It's what it is.
So I definitely agree with you. And again, it's not a surprise to us. We've had Mahomes and Allen 2, Mahomes 1 all season. That has never changed. You have we. That's why we just say top 5 for Allen, because it's true. And unfortunately couldn't get those plays done at the end there. Got his foot stepped on, whatever.
It's just an unfortunate situation.
It is.
I will say, though, having 7 total touchdowns, no turnovers. I know he kind of flirted with a couple in the last drive.
The fumble that got recovered by Spencer Brown. Masterful recovery by him.
Yeah, and the near pick. But I will say this, though. I have 2 additional down 5s before we get into just general discussion because I just did pain twice. So I felt like I guess I want to get where your thoughts are on this as well.
Okay.
I'm currently at a 5.
I knew it.
1 out of 10 on McDermott firing. I'm at a 5. I said I was at a 3. I'm at a 5 because I think falling short is just the gun has 6 shots in it, and this is a shot that they fired and missed. And how many more shots do we have left? I'm not saying this is the shot, people. Like, I think the Bills will have plenty of more opportunities. I don't know if that's a good thing because now we have plenty more opportunities to get our just hearts smashed and me to listen to Jelly Roll on the way home crying. But
yeah.
I'm at a 5. Where are you? Before you even answer, 1 to 10. Fire 1 is
6.
cold. 6. Okay,
I'm
so
hovering around the same area as you.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm in a situation where if you said to me next year the Bills go 11-6, they make the playoffs and they lose the divisional round to like Chiefs, Ravens, I'm out.
He's out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
100%. Here's the thing.
I think it's Super Bowl or bust, not Super Bowl winner or bust, but Super Bowl appearance or bust.
Precisely. And the thing for me is, screw the off the field stuff that came out. That has nothing to do with how I feel about him. The team rallied from 6-6, got to 11-6, the number 2 seed in the AFC, rallied around him. They did what they needed to do. Unfortunately, fell short at the end of the day in the playoffs. And even to be where they were was not expected. We were talking about it. I literally had a graphic for one of the Betting on the Bills episodes. 5-5. The Bills are at an 18% chance to make the playoffs. Is all hope lost? Like, that was it. Like, it was over. And now we're sitting here talking about they went out in the divisional round again at home. McDermott is only on the warm-ish seat, around a 6, because he has had so many opportunities to get this team over the hump with all the talent it's had. Now, you're like you said, you're going to have to retool defensively and things along those lines. You have an older core. If he can't do it next year, like he's out 100%.
I hear you.
Mm-hmm. He's just, you got to be able to get the team over the hump. If you're not that guy, we're wasting the prime years of a lot of freak athletes like Josh Allen on this team, James Cook. You're going to waste them away just going out in the divisional round, being the 3rd or 4th best team in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that I can't. After one more season of that, I can't stand by that anymore.
I agree. I'm totally in the same boat.
I think that's how a lot of people feel at this point, except I'd say
know.
probably 60-40. 40% feel like us, 60% are like fire McDermott.
Yeah, I think it might be, well.
You think more?
I don't know. I mean, we pulled like 5 people, our friends, and I think all 5 of them were anti. Listen, I think it comes down to this, though. Like, the defense had so many injuries, and yet at the end of the season, they were arguably a top 10 group. I know this game they got shredded.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh my God, AJ Klein was on Travis Kelce. I'm sorry, but when you're down to your 7th linebacker, like, that's just unfortunate. AJ Klein sucked. Okay? That's not me hitting on the guy. He played awful. Did I expect him to play good? No. Rasul Douglas was obviously not healthy.
No.
Didn't play well.
You could tell. You could tell he wasn't.
Dane Jackson didn't play well. I think maybe we could have a conversation about should they have gone to Kyrie Elam. Could we have a conversation that maybe instead of AJ Klein, they go to Dorian Williams? Mm-hmm. But I think they wanted some veteran experience out there.
They wanted, that's what they look for in AJ.
Which is all right. Is it Sean McDermott's fault that the D-line, other than a couple of nice plays from Gregory Rousseau, and hell, Von Miller
actually
played a hell of a game,
yeah.
I had to say. And I'm not all the way back on Von, but I'm praying to the gods, not for Von's personal sake, but for my health, that maybe, 8 months from now, as we allude to the next Bills football game, that he gets more confident in the knee and he can build upon this Chiefs and Steelers game, because I think those are his 2 best games of the year, and kind of be like a Trey White early in the year. Don't blow out your Achilles.
No, please do not.
Is it
because we're paying a lot of money for him at this point?
We talked about the Chiefs' interior offensive line being the best unit for the team, and they dominated the Bills' interior. Is that Sean McDermott's fault? Is it Sean McDermott's fault the fact of that 13 separate occasions, your all-pro defensive tackle, Ed Oliver, matched up against the Chiefs all-pro Joe Tooney in a one-on-one situation, one-on-one pass rep, and didn't win a single fucking time? Is that Sean McDermott's fault? Or is that the player's fault? Mm-hmm. Is it his fault that come on. Like, he had a 1v1.
He did.
You got to beat your guy.
He didn't beat his guy.
13 times. 13 times he failed. All 13 times. Didn't get a single pressure. So, sorry, I apologize for the F-bomb, but I'm just... Is it Sean McDermott's fault that your star receiver drops a 60-yard pass? Is it Sean McDermott's fault that your Pro Bowl left tackle... I mean, listen, I'm not excusing it, right? I'm not excusing it. Like, the fake punt was really fucking dumb.
It was bad. And you've seen the tweets going around of, was McDermott trying to make a Disney Channel original movie by making Damar Hamlin do that? Why are we taking the ball out of our best player's hands on a situation like that? You had a better chance of making that with Josh Allen. 100%.
No, 100%.
I don't know why you didn't.
That was dumb. That was just incredibly stupid.
It was incredibly stupid.
And sure, would I not have AJ Klein guarding Travis Kelce? Sure, but I mean, again, credit to Andy Reid. He's a very good offensive coach, and they were able to get those mismatches. Like, I don't know, man. I get frustrated that everything falls back on McDermott or everything falls back on Allen. Like we keep, I saw it today of like Allen's not great because he can't win. It's like, okay, here we go with like, it's the turnovers, guys. It's the turnovers.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he has 0 turnovers, but they still lose. Oh, it's him. Like
no, we're pointing the finger at
there's
the
so
wrong
much
guy.
blame pointed at 2 individuals. If you want to count being 3, and grant that's the being a GM, a head coach, and a quarterback. That's kind of like the road you go down. But
yeah.
It's an entire team. It takes a team effort. We saw the Chiefs, complete team effort, right? Chris Jones makes a big play. Mahomes played great. Kelce made big plays. Rashid Rice made big plays. The offensive line made big plays. Freaking MVS, who's been fucking dog shit all year, makes
he comes
2
up with 2 of
catches
the
for
biggest
60
plays.
yards.
Yeah, 2 of the biggest plays of the game.
Sorry
for
for
the
swearing. I am swearing a lot.
No, it's absolutely true. It's
That
absolutely
one
ridiculous.
just slowed down.
No, it's ridiculous. You had opportunities, of course, and I've been holding back a little bit because it's just aggravating that all of the blame is being put at McDermott and Allen, because truthfully, those two, like you said, they're not at the brunt. It's not McDermott's fault at all. Oliver got bitched the entire game. You know what I mean? Like, it truthfully isn't. Like, it's not. Like you cannot say that. It's not Allen's fault that Diggs has ate a Butterfinger before the game and couldn't catch a 60-yard dot right into his arm. Like, it's not his fault. It's just
And the kicker missed.
Like, yeah, that's Allen, right? Allen kicked the ball.
No, is there some serious stuff that we can blame McDermott for? Sure. Again, the fake punt. That's really dumb. Maybe some stuff with the defensive game plan of, hey, early in the game they try to, get their edges to make plays and their linebackers to get the edge, and when they switched it, they got burnt on those.
Or before you get out there, throw DeMar a smelling salt, because the guy looked like a deer in headlights. He looked like he just woke up.
Yeah.
He didn't know where to go. He was looking around.
Yeah, maybe have like a guy that's played offense do it. Maybe that would set. Listen. And also, can we say that like, was it a smart idea to have Sam Martin be active? The answer to the question is hell no. Because he had
That
2
guy.
punts for 39 yards, 38 yards.
He looked like prime Matt Hawk.
Yeah, he had like a 30-yard net, I want to say, which is horrendous. And at that point, what the Bills probably should have done with their roster is they should have put him on IR, ended the season, Matt Hacken. Sorry. That's not even hindsight. Like, that was like...
No, we said that before the game.
You could tell, like, that was not a good idea to have a kicker with an injured hamstring. I know it's not his kicking leg, but still.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming Sam Martin, but like that was just poor roster management, and that falls on McDermott and Bean. Like, that falls on them.
That does. You could tell he was very clearly injured out there.
Yes.
He did not look like himself.
There were just things that you could fault Sean McDermott for doing.
Like that.
And the
fake punt.
How the defense performed, that falls on his shoulders. Sure.
It's on his shoulders as the coach, but he didn't individually cause any of those issues.
Yes. Individually, there was plays to be made, and the Chiefs made them, and the Bills didn't. Heck, you lose by 3 points. It's razor thin margins. It's did not go down to the Tyler Bass field goal, sure, but there's 3 or 4 plays a game that are just, if you get them, you win. Chiefs, big play to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, 1-on-1 coverage. It's your all-pro slot corner against MVS, who couldn't even catch anything all year.
I mean, I remember we were all watching that Eagles game earlier in the season. That guy literally just sold in the end zone. So
it's Josh Allen needing a half a second more to throw a perfect seed to Khalil Shakur.
Yep. It's literally a half second. And that's a 4-point lead. They have to score a touchdown.
Then it's us missing a fake punt by 3 yards, but that one doesn't count.
Anyway.
Listen, it's definitely frustrating.
I think the initial frustration is the thing.
They lost.
Like, that's losing sucks, to quote Josh Allen. Again, losing sucks. To them, anybody, it sucks.
It's not that they lost. It's how they continue to make up new ways to lose by 1 score. And this is another thing that I think McDermott gets crapped on, but I think it's more impressive than anything else, is that the Bills have lost by 1 score, more than 1 score, 1 time in the last 2 years, and that was that Cincinnati playoff game. Heck, it's been honestly about a season, 2.5 seasons, because the last time they got blown in the regular season was Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Heck, you could
That was a blowout. I remember that game. But
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
crazy. It's insane.
They don't get blown out.
They
And
blow out teams and then they lose by 3 points.
I think that's frustrating, but like, I think that shows to how this team operates, how they're always in the game. You know, they play competitive ball, and I think that's a coaching aspect. But then losing games like this in the playoffs, it's like, again, I think it is a fair question to ask: is Sean McDermott the guy that could take the Bills over the top? And my answer to that question is perhaps, but I don't know. And I'm willing to say one more year. One more run.
At this point,
one more ride.
yes.
Because
one last ride.
I'm just gonna say this. Well, one more down point, and then we'll just. I just want to go into a brief thing about what's coming up. First, my last point. I fucking love Josh Allen. I mean, I just love that man. So
I don't know how
that's my only point. I'm sorry.
It's true.
I watched four swear, by the way. Actually, no, maybe it's 5. I think I've said 4 F's and an S. So.
Listen, we have the explicit rating on every episode, so everyone is warned. So
we didn't even swear that much, too. We didn't even swear. Oh, I shouldn't say that now because it's really like.
No, it's like it's a setting you just click and it just goes for every episode. I don't feel like changing it, so we leave it on. No, Josh Allen. At the end of the day, the reason your team does what it does is because of Josh Allen. The reason your team got to where it got is because of Josh Allen. In a good way. I'm not saying it's the loss is on him. I'm saying the reason they went from 6-6 to 11-6 and the number 2 seed had a lot to do with Josh Allen and the players around him. To say he's not great, like I've been seeing circulated the past 2 days, is absolutely outrageous. Are you high, national media? Are you absolutely high? Because guess what? Guess what happens next week? If the Chiefs beat Lamar, is Lamar great? No, they're going to say he's not. Lamar's great. He is. There's a reason they're the best team in football right now.
I just don't like how we have to build someone up. We have to take another person down.
Yeah.
I just think that's a bad thing in life, and it's horrendously bad in sports. You know who's ruined it? Who I blame for it?
Tom Brady?
LeBron James.
Oh.
Because
you got to take Michael Jordan down to elevate
or you got to take LeBron down to like basketball with the MJ LeBron thing has completely ruined sports discourse.
Well, it has because in turn it's turned the Brady Mahomes conversation into MJ LeBron conversation.
Yes.
It's just spreading like a virus. And here's the thing too. Mahomes has 2 Super Bowls, right? Could be on his way to a 3rd this season. We'll have to wait and see. Tom Brady set an unexpected precedent to win that many Super Bowls in a career. How many has Aaron Rodgers won and we consider him great? 1. How many did Peyton Manning win? 2. 1, he barely did anything in. The Broncos won.
Yeah,
the team around.
It was a participation trophy.
That was a participation trophy. The first one with the Colts, guess who he lost? He got booted out of the playoffs 2 all those years.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Took him 9 years. He was 30 years old when he won his first Super Bowl. To say Josh Allen is not great because he has not been to a championship yet is absolutely outrageous. But Peyton Manning is in the top 5 of all time conversation. You know what I'm saying? The track record Allen is on, and they're already changing the Peyton Manning graphics on the shows to Phillip Rivers graphics. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even funny. It's ridiculous.
Phillip Rivers has never been the caliber quarterback that Josh Allen's ever been.
Allen is a superstar, and he bleeds superstar.
That's
what he is.
All I'm saying is that the NFL freaking loves Bills Chiefs. They love Josh Allen. They love Patrick Mahomes because, as I alluded to, the 50 million people average watching it, the most ever in a divisional game. I think Paramount Plus, who is the streaming service for
Peppa Pig, CBS, all that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Peppa Pig, real life. I mean, Peppa Pig's barred from the stadium.
Yeah.
0-1.
Yeah, that commercial cut gone.
0-1 with the mascot on site. They get views, man, and it's because they're 2 likable dudes who are the best of the best.
Heavy competitors,
mm-hmm. And they put on it was a damn good game, man.
It's literally the greatest show on turf.
Why can't one of these all-time playoff games
go in the Bills' favor?
It hasn't happened like in our lifetime. Mm-mm. Like, I guess the only one you could say is maybe the Ravens game when divisional round, but that was a 14-point win, so that wasn't even like it was like It was closer than the score would say, but like, I don't know. I'm at lost for words, but I do want to say that this is a new era of Bills football, regardless of Sean McDermott being fired down, which I'm just gonna tell you right now, he won't be.
No.
This is gonna be a completely new roster.
Window 1 has been effectively shut. The blinds are closed. Window 2 is now open. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And to effectively open that wider is they have 10 draft picks. They have the 28th pick officially, which, of course, of course. You know what the most frustrating part is?
What?
Every time the Bills lose in the second round of the playoffs, they're like the best team to lose in the second round of the playoffs, so they get the worst first round pick.
Yep.
Like, that's why I'm so pissed at Jordan Love, too. You couldn't beat San Fran, so we could get the 27th pick, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, Jordan Love. I mean, honestly.
I'm sorry, Brett Favre.
Aaron Rodgers? They're like the same. They all did the same thing. When the quarterback before him went to the Jets, they just popped off.
Oh, my God.
They've all done the same thing. Green
literally and figuratively popped off.
Yeah.
But
it's
this is his team. So offensively, there's a real case with the 11 starters in the game. Well, I don't know if Sherfield started, but those guys are all going to be back. Mitch Morris seems to come back, so that's exciting.
Khalil Shakir too.
Defensively,
amazing.
They're going to have a completely new roster, pretty much. Mm-hmm. You're going to build around Ed Oliver. You're going to build around having 2 stud linebackers, which now we know we have 2 stud linebackers with Milano coming back
and Bernard.
Him
showing out this season is the best thing for this.
But like that's
forward.
But didn't we have so many questions about linebackers just moving forward? That's been answered. Ed Oliver. I mean, I know he got crapped down by Joe Tooney, but
still, you paid him the money. He had an outstanding season.
He had an outstanding year. Mm-hmm. You still have Greg Rousseau up front. You're going to have your choice of cornerback, which is really solid. The Bills, though, are going to have to figure out what are they going to do at safety and what are they doing with the defensive line outside of Greg Rousseau and Ed Oliver, and Von Miller's going to be on the team. So outside of those 3 guys, the Bills usually have 8, 9 guys playing, so they got to figure out who are those 5 or 6 dudes. And then just offensively, I think it's how do they get more explosive offensively?
I think that's just like the coach did today.
But that's the number one question because they showed that this offensive line can win.
Yeah.
They showed that they have a ground game that they can rely on when the weather gets cold.
Between their running backs, even without Josh Allen, and then you add Josh Allen on top of that ground game. So
they showed that they still have Jesus playing quarterback.
Yep.
And the Kincaid, again, I said this a lot about Josh Allen. I said this right now about Dalton Kincaid because I believe in him. He had 70 catches, 600 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. That might be the worst year of Dalton Kincaid's career.
I think it's going to be because they really underutilized him for a lot of it.
But that might be the worst game. That might be the worst season of his career.
Yeah.
It's
only up from here.
It's only up from here. It's clear Shakir. The way they used him in the second half, that guy's going to be an 800-yard receiver.
He's your slot guy now.
He's your slot.
The question's been answered.
So,
that's another question that's been answered. Slot receiver.
The questions that to be remained are what's going to happen outside of James Cook offensively, because I'd like to bring Ty Johnson back because I think he was really nice. I do think they need to get maybe a more physical running back because I think Cook, for as well as he's played, his inconsistency catching the football, another drop this game, and his inability to at times, I just think he struggles a little bit after contact. He could shake you, but if you get your hands on him, he's going to get nothing more. I need another guy that can maybe break an arm tackle, get me 4 or 5. I think they need to add that element to the running game, which I think they're missing a little bit. And just explosion. Stephon Diggs.
I was waiting for you to get here.
Obviously, I think he's banged up in some sense. I also think the narrative completely changes with Stephon Diggs. If he catches that 60-yard deep ball, they connect on that deep ball against New England, connect on the other deep ball earlier in the year against New England, and that deep ball against Miami. The narrative completely changes. So do I think he's washed? No. I've always said this about Diggs. Diggs, solid hands, not great hands. Not the most athletic dude.
No.
But he's an elite route runner. And really good route runners do age solid. Well, no. graceful.
More
Better.
graceful?
More graceful, thank you.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they have plus athleticism in the first place to rely on. They rely on their savviness. That's why Diggs always, to me, is going to be like, even when he's out of his prime, he's going to be like a really good slot receiver.
Yeah.
Just because of his abilities to understand coverage, where to stop, his ability to understand leverage,
Do you
how
think
to at what pace to run a route.
Right.
Those are stuff you can't teach. I mean, you could teach people, but having those skills
as a natural ability
do not
yeah.
go away when you don't have the high end speed. Now, what they need to do is they need to add more speed to this perimeter. They need another deep threat. For me, they need to get 2 more receivers. I don't know if Gabe Davis is one. I guess if he wants to come back on market value, but for me, I'm all the way in. 2 years ago, we were all the way in on cornerback round 1. Now, did that work out? I guess we'll wait and see because maybe who knows?
Maybe Elam will show out at some point.
I'm just saying, Kyer Elam led the team in interceptions this postseason.
He did. Oh my God, you're right. That's crazy. What a stat. What a stat.
Sorry.
No, it's
But then a year ago, we were all on board with pass catcher, right?
We got Kincaid.
Well, technically, we were all on board with wide receiver again, but 2 years in a row we're going to be. But
you effectively got a slot receiver on steroids.
A mix.
So that's basically what you got.
I don't know if everyone would agree with that. Someone on GR wouldn't, but yeah, I'm all the way bored on wide receiver. Round 1, I'm all the way bored on. I'm not even see, like they have 10 draft picks. I think what they need to focus on is they need to get younger on the back end, with the safeties. I think they're both going to retire, but who knows?
You need better
no idea what
DeMar Hamlin.
No idea what's going to happen with Trey White.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably gone. I just don't see it.
Coming back from Achilles, I don't see that.
I don't want to doubt that man, but I just don't see it. So they need to get younger on the back end. They need to get building blocks. I mean, I hate saying this because they use so many resources in the defensive line, but they're going to need to get some more at least defensive tackles. Maybe they can get one to Floyd and Epinesa to come back, and you can kind of piece together the other edge spots. But they need to get some future next to Ed Oliver in the defensive tackle room, and they need to add, I think, 2 wide receivers to that wide receiver room. They need to add a wide, if you want to go in and say, hey, our wide receiver room next year will be Stephon Diggs, Khalil Shakur, Justin Shorter, a 1st-round draft pick, and like a 4th-round draft pick. I'm all on. I'm all board. Or if you're like 1st-round pick, Diggs, Shakir, Shorter, savvy free agent signing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about Deontay Hardy, or Trent Sherfield, just like an Emmanuel Sanders type.
Yeah,
I think they really missed that version. If they could get a 1st-round pick and Emmanuel Sanders like free agents, or a 1st-round pick and like a 4th-round pick to that receiver room, they need to get more explosive. They were 28th this season in yards of rate of 20 yards or more. Mm-hmm. That's not going to cut it. Now, it wasn't great against Dorsey. You dropped a smidge of Brady, so it's not really I don't think it's really more scheme. I think it's a personnel issue.
Mm-hmm. You don't have the guy that's going to be
able to do that. We don't have the guys that can win down the field.
No.
And they also, listen, they missed their fair share of plays. Everyone does that. I just don't think they have guys that can consistently get up and down the field.
Right.
And they need to add at least one bona fide. They need to add Diggs' replacement, and they need to add a depth guy.
Mm-hmm. I think you'll effectively, though, if you add another wide receiver that's a serious threat, you're going to see Diggs be more involved in the offense.
They can't bracket him. Yes. So,
yeah. Because they're double teaming him every game. Like you're stuck with him. That's why you haven't seen the production out of him this season. Emmanuel Sanders pulled that coverage off of him and allowed him, and Gabe Davis did when Gabe Davis was an effective pass catcher.
They need to find their Jordan Addison.
Mm-hmm.
That allowed less coverage to go to Justin Jefferson. I know they weren't played a lot together because Jefferson was banged up, but Addison caught 10 touchdowns this year. Why? A lot of the coverage was going to TJ Hawk. It opened up stuff for TJ Hawkinson. It opens up for Justin Jefferson. So in Minnesota, there's Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison. The Bills, I like Shakir. I'm not dissing Shakir, but if we could get next year and have a trio of Stephon Diggs, Dalton Kincaid, and a 1st-round pick that is playing Jordan Addison level,
mm-hmm.
with the other pieces of, you have a dependable offensive line, solid ground game. Also, we have Khalil Shakir and Dawson Knox, who is a solid tight end still. I know he's overpaid. I'm sorry. I just like it. Now, defensively, they're going to have to figure out again safety in the D line, which is just such a pain in the ass that they keep doing that. But I'm sorry. Like I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic than most. I think they're in a decent position now. I don't know what they're going to do with their cap per se. They got to figure out who are they going to extend, who are they going to restructure, who are they going to cut.
I think Josh Allen's won you backload now. You got to move that back.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But they're going to have about $25 million to spend. Brendan Bean said it the best. They need to hit on. They need to be effective at every single dollar. Mm-hmm. They were not super effective last season at every single dollar. Now they got Leonard Floyd. That worked out.
That was wonderful, Leonard Floyd.
Latavius Murray, for the most part, worked out. Connor McGovern, I think, worked out. Deontay Hardy didn't. I know he had a big play to win the division, but that was a sign that didn't work out.
Yeah, it wasn't the best it could have been for sure. Yeah.
The addition of Douglas worked out. So
if you could get an offensive version of the Rasul Douglas pickup, a veteran who's, bona fide, like you said, out there and known to be good at the position, but on the offensive side of the ball, that's what you should be looking for. And I think Brandon Bean has a decent track record of things like that. So I'm kind of like, okay. I'm ready for it.
If we get a first round, if we get a Jordan Addison and we get an Emmanuel Sanders, I think we are completely in business.
100%. And, if the listeners out there, comment on the video, on the episode, whatever you think the Bills should do from here.
We all know
we might be the more optimistic show you're listening to about.
We have a lot of time to talk about it. People.
We do a lot of time, a lot of guests we might have on. We'll see what happens here. It's just there's going to be a lot coming down the road. We got a long off season ahead of us, and it's going to be hopefully an exciting off season that puts the Bills in a position to not be a divisional round exit next season.
Fun fact, though, before we get off.
Yeah.
Just gonna make sure one second. I gotta make sure I have this right.
Do we have a Jeopardy theme to play?
Well, I think this is correct.
Go for it. If it's not, we'll figure it out.
The Bills are gonna play the Super Bowl winner again.
Yeah, they play Baltimore
because they play in Baltimore, 49ers. Play home in Kansas City, play in home against the Niners, and they play in Detroit. So the Bills. Yeah. Listen, the Bills have had a fairly good track record of playing competitive and beating Super Bowl winners. This year,
the Chiefs.
I'm talking about regular season. Okay,
regular season, they won against the Chiefs.
Regular season, they won against Chiefs.
Rams
lost in overtime to Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They got smoked by Kansas City in 2020, and they got swept by New England twice in 2019.
So they're over 500.
17 was the Eagles, and they didn't play the Eagles till 2019. So. There you go. They played the Super Bowl winner every year since the Super Bowl of 2018. So here we go, another year, and hopefully next time when we say they can't. Hopefully next year they can't do that because they'll win the Super Bowl. But
yeah, no, this has come sooner than we would have liked. This is the finale to the regular season or the football season coverage, really, on the Buffalonian podcast. Of course, we're going to still talk football for the rest of the season, probably do a Super Bowl special, things along those lines.
Go Lions, baby.
Yeah, go Lions. Want to see the underdog story happen, but I do kind of have to root for the Niners because I do have family in San Francisco, so that is where my second team lies. So my aunt and uncle out in San Francisco. So, but listen, would I've loved to see a Bills Lions Super Bowl? That would have been a dream right there. That's all I'm saying for both cities to have that, but we'll talk about it for the rest of the season coming up here. Any closing remarks before we end this episode, this heartbreak?
Pain.
You heard it here first. Pain. Without further ado, though, that is going to do it for this doom and gloom part whatever edition of the Buffalonian podcast. I'm Joe Callie. As always, I'm joined by Dom Loss. Thank you to our producer Mooch as well for everything you do for the show. Stay with us in the off season. You're going to see some upgrades from us, some people coming on with us, doing some cool things. So we're looking to get that all here for you. And we got to cover the horrible Sabres too. So stay around for that. But Dom, without further ado, for the last time in the Bills football area of things, how do you want to end these?
Go Bills, baby.
Go Bills.